Hope everything's going all right. Thank you, those of you that have been working really hard on the lab. Some of you have been having some really good questions. So because of that, I thought I'd run through it one more time. I know a lot of you are missing, so hopefully some of the things that I'm going to show you here will help you out, okay? Please try to get this lab in as soon as possible. It was due last week before we all got sent home. So there's still quite a few of you that need to get this into me, okay? So first off, here is the lab. Okay, I do have a copy of it on D2L. I'll just go right to my D2L page here. And you can access the lab on D2L. You actually go down to yesterday's post March 22nd. Okay, you can access the lab right here, right where it says Microscope Lab. You hit enter, and it should download onto your computer or open up. Okay, but you can do it online. You can type it all up and just type in the answers, send it to me. As far as all the diagrams go, you can just sketch the diagrams. I'm going to be very easy on this. Okay, so going back to the lab here, the very first thing, it talks about the magnification. You needed to tell me what the magnification of the low, medium, and high power lenses were, as well as the eyepiece. If we go back to D2L, I did find a pretty good YouTube video right here for those of you that were absent. The YouTube video is right here. You can watch that. It will tell you exactly what the lenses are. Okay, we played with microscopes in class. Some of you probably remember them. But for those of you that don't, okay, remember the eyepiece is 10 times magnification. The low power objective lens was 4, medium was 10, high power is 40. Down in these sections right here in the 4 little blocks or empty spots, you would have to tell me what the total magnification is. Remember to figure that out. We do not add them, we multiply them. Okay, then what we needed to do was measure the field of view. So for those of you that were not here, what we actually did was we took a little clear ruler and we actually stuck it into these spots, or sorry, into the underneath the objective lens, and we had to draw what we saw. Okay, I have found some pictures which I also put onto D2L of exactly what you should have seen. Okay, so this one right here, the top one, says measured the microscope's field of view using a ruler under low power 40 times. The microscope's field of view had a diameter of 5 millimeters. And you can see right here, we've got a space in between each of these lines. These are the lines that are on a ruler. Space in between each one of these is 1 millimeter. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are going to draw that on the lab in the circles provided right here. And then you're going to tell me what that diameter was. Okay. So in that case, it was 5 millimeters. Do the same thing for the 100 times and the 400 times. There's just a little thing here. Under medium power, the 100 times magnification, this is what you saw. So you could say it's 1, and this plus this probably equals up to 2. So 2 millimeters, you could say 1.75, something along those lines. Okay. Then for the 400 times magnification, you probably would not have seen anything. Okay. 400 times magnification zooms in so much that you probably end up by looking at this, or else you end up by landing right on the black line here. So in that case, it's either going to be clear or it's going to be black. When it comes for the measurement is going to simply be less than 1 millimeter. Okay, we can't say 0, we can't say 0.2, we can't say 0.1 because we don't have the other black line to gauge it. Okay, so that's what you need to do for that part of the lab. And then down here, I'm actually going to help you out and tell you exactly what happened. I did put a YouTube video. That YouTube video I was talking about will help you also with this part for part 3 with the letter E. However, I'm going to tell you what the exact results were here. Looking through the eyepiece, it says move the slide to the left. What direction does the image move? The answer was to the right. Okay. For B, move the slide away from you. What direction does the image move? The answer would have been towards you. Okay, so what you're getting there is everything is the opposite. Part C says recenter the E, locate the diaphragm under the stage, turn the dial. What happens to the light intensity? You may remember when we were playing with the microscopes prior to the lab, the diaphragm changed the intensity of the light, and that helped us, especially with the onion cells. Finally, we had to go and look at the letter E underneath the microscope and draw it at 400, 100, and 40, 100 and 400 times magnification. When we looked at it under 400 times, it was a small e. It was just a little tiny e that was right in the middle of the screen. When we looked at it at the 100 times, the e took up pretty much the whole field of view. Okay, so the letter E itself took up the whole entire field of view. And when we looked at under the 400, all we saw was the black line. It was zoomed in so close that you couldn't see the letter E. There is something very, very unique about the letter E. I'm not going to tell you at this point because it's one of the things we had to find out. Look on the video I gave you. It has to do with the orientation of the letter. Finally, we had to prepare an onion cell. Those of you that missed that, it's unfortunate, but you guys will be doing this again in future years. But going back to the D2L, I stole this online. I took this picture off the internet somewhere, and here is a really nice picture of what we would have seen. Just draw that in that circle. This is a sample of tissue from an onion. Each one of these little things here are the cells, and you need to draw it and label the organelles. The hint is there's only 3 organelles. There's going to be this one, not going to tell you what it is. There's grainy stuff in here, not going to tell you what that is. And then this, the outline of the cell. Those are really the only 3 that you can see. You can maybe argue you can see something else there, but I'm fine with you just labeling those 3. That was the lab. That was the results for the lab. The final part of the lab is to simply answer the questions on the back. What's the magnification power of the eyepiece? Well, you got that in the first part. What's the highest total magnification of the microscope? So that's the 2 lenses combined together. What gives you the highest? What did you notice about the number of millimeters as you went from low, medium to high? Well, you have that in the results, the pictures, they'll tell you what happened to the number of millimeters. Did the field of view increase or decrease? You can sort of get that right from number 3. It's pretty much the same answer. What happens to the field of view when you adjusted the diaphragm? Well, I've already talked about that, so rewatch the video and you'll hear it. What's the name of the type of slide that we prepare using water? This is in your textbook. We're using water. Water's wet. That's the hint I'm going to give you. It is in your textbook. What did the microscope do to the position of the letter E when you put it under the microscope? Good question. Very important question. Watch the video. If you figure it out, awesome. If you still get stuck on it, send me an email. Why was there less of the letter E under the high power than on low power? That one's self-explanatory. Define field of view. This is the second time you've seen this question. And finally, 2 procedures that should be used to handle handling a microscope. So that could be carrying the microscope, that could be cleaning the microscope, it could be viewing things underneath the microscope. Just have to give me 2 of the many, many we talked about. That's it. I will post this on to YouTube. I'll put the link on D2L. Please email me if you have questions. Work on the lab. Like I said, you can email it in to me. You take a picture of it, send me the pictures, scan it, send me the scan, share it with me on Google Docs. I don't care. As long as I get a copy of it so I can give it a grade, and then we can go from there. Starting next week, you're going to be getting new lessons and whatnot. There's already a few that I posted on YouTube. Feel free to look at those, but I'm not forcing you to. It's totally up to you guys. Keep those brains sharp, and again, email me if you have any questions. Talk to you later. I gotta figure out how to stop this.